It is Thursday, November 10th at 4:06 for the Economic Development Commission meeting. We will open the meeting now.
Do we need a second to vote on it?
You don't need to vote on it to open, but
Okay.
if we could though, just everyone that's here, just kind of state, maybe just go around and just say here, just for the record. Kevin,
Here.
Brian. We'll come back to Brian. It might be frozen.
Oh, Brian's here.
Yep.
Brian's here.
Yep. John.
Here.
Here. Beth.
Here.
Donnell.
Here,
Mark. You might not be at the moment. And Harry, I know you're here as well as the liaison.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. I guess I would turn it back to you, Beth. The discussion really today is mostly to do with the FY23 tax rates, and I know right now, I think I might have mentioned earlier, the Board of Assessors is actually meeting at the same time, so we don't have their official recommendation yet. But I guess I would turn it over to all of you. You've had a chance to maybe look at the document that I've provided from the town assessor, initial comments, concerns, and ultimately, I guess what the Economic Development Commission would want to present or at least address with the Board of Selectmen when they discuss this item on Tuesday.
well, if
Does
I'll
anyone have
voice my
any
opinion,
comments?
I'll start there if you want.
Yeah.
As in the past, we've always gone to this or I've gone a couple times to the selectmen's meeting in order to speak on this. And I kind of think that all the issues that we've said in the past are still in effect today. I mean, business in Walpole is still, especially downtown, is hard to bring in businesses, and we want to promote business and bring in business. And having an extra tax burden on the commercial base isn't really beneficial or helpful in bringing in additional tenants or bringing in additional business owners into town. I understand they share a tax building already, which is greater with the shift already that's in place. And I don't believe that increasing the shift anymore at this time where we're still recovering from COVID and businesses are still getting back on their feet with the way inflation is hitting right now, and inflation is hitting businesses as well. I just don't think it's the appropriate time.
Mhm.
And the other thing is fuel prices. It's the appropriate time to be doing that to a business. So I'm not in favor of making the shift, but I am in favor of asking the selectmen to maintain the current shift. I'm not asking them to reduce it, but I'd be in favor of maintaining what we got.
Hey, can you guys hear me? I've been dropping in and out of this call.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, good. Sorry about that.
So
Danell,
Donnell,
go ahead.
go ahead, Mark. No, Donnell, I was going to agree with you, but I agree that leaving the shift the way it's been the last decade is fair for all of, both on the commercial and on the residential side. And coming, 2 years in the middle of an inflation and everything else, that the shift should remain the same.
I agree, Kevin.
Okay.
And I have some comments. Sorry I missed. I couldn't log in for some reason on my phone, and I was just in talking to Pat. So, it's very frustrating. But if I'm repeating what anyone says, please let me know. I don't want to kill a lot of people's time. My feelings are that raising or doing any kind of a shift to the commercial side, especially this year, is absolutely the wrong move to make. First of all, the reason that the residential burden is so high this year as compared to last year's, other than valuations going up, but that happens every year, is because of the override. And as far as I know, there's not one commercial business that's allowed to vote for an override. So basically, what a shift is doing is saying, yeah, you voted for the override for the school, but let's let the businesses get in and pay off some of that for us. I don't think that's fair at all. Secondarily, And if I'm wrong about, if the rules have changed, Danell or John or anybody else that knows, let me know. But it's my belief that an LLC or certain LLCs get their taxes looked at as personal income. And any LLCs that have an income, personal income at the end, profit at the end of the year of over $1 million are going to get hit with an extra 4% next year. And it seems, and if I'm wrong about that, someone let me know, but it seems like that is just, both of these things would create a 2023 for commercial business that would not be favorable, not only to help keep the businesses viable, but we're not going to be able to get anyone to say, yeah, let's go to Walpole to start a business, because it's, I think it's too much of a burden. At a minimum, I would say keep the shift where it's been, but I personally would like to see no shift if it were up to me. So that's my 2 cents. If anybody wants to
You know,
slap me,
Mark, you know what's, no, Mark, I agree with you. And you know what's interesting? I didn't think about that point regarding, you're right. People that have worked for a company of a 401k, their retirement's untaxed. But you're right, a business owner, for the most part, their retirement is the sale of their business. So if someone has a 401k for $1.5 million and retire, that's untaxed money. But when a person has a business and sells it at the end for retirement for $1.5 million, that's now taxed additionally. And adding these taxes on, I didn't think of that at all. That's a very good point. And then I was also thinking was that we're in a rising interest rate environment, which is already going to put a burden on businesses that have loans.
Right.
So I am in favor of stating what you said, Mark, that we suggest at the minimum, keep the shift the way it is, but would also want to entertain possibly lowering it to back to even or somewhat closer to even. What does everyone else think?
I kind of agree with it, what everyone's saying here. I mean, if you also take the small business owner that they're talking about with that proposal that they had in the ballot there about taxing anything over $1 million, the extra 4% on the Massachusetts, there's another tax that's already happening in the situation.
right. And people don't they didn't tell you that in the ballot question, that if you have an LLC and you're doing well and you're in that bracket, you're going to get the extra 4% in Massachusetts. It's not just rich hedge fund managers that are getting a salary. It's guys that run small businesses that do well, that happen to have their corporate structure in such a way that they're going to get nailed by it. And so piling on a second time, in my opinion, especially because everybody's worried because of the override money. Patrick, what'd you say? That's like an extra $400 a year?
Yeah, it's roughly, yeah. So on
that's what-
average, oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
was just gonna say, so I mean, if going through the document, on average, taxes would increase yearly, yearly increase in taxes around 200. With the override, that's where that additional, 400 comes in, and we kind of come in for the this is just for residential tax rate, where that average is. So.
And they voted for
Well,
that, guys. Residential voted for that. Commercial did not vote for that. And I think they're trying to switch it over to let commercial handle some of that middle school burden, which I don't think is right.
I agree with all of that also.
Right.
I'm in agreement as well with everything said. So at the
Oh,
very
I
least-
propose, I'd like to make a motion that we draft a letter to the Board of Selectmen requesting that they keep the shift the same as it has been for the last 10 years. And that at this point in time, and with everything that's going on with inflation and everything going on with other taxes and stuff like that, it's not the appropriate time to increase the shift.
Do we have a
I
second on that?
second them. I'll second that motion.
Anybody have any comments
Colin.
before I take it to a vote?
Do you want to have Patrick draft up a letter first and then, and vote for it now, but have Patrick draft up a letter for us.
When
to
does this
review before it goes
when
out?
does the letter, when does the
Tuesday.
letter have to be? Okay,
Tuesday is the meeting of the select board.
okay.
All right, so Danell made Danell kind of laid it out as to what we've been talking about. I have a second, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We actually
Aye.
need,
Aye.
I'm sorry, we actually need a roll call because we're online.
Okay,
So, we had this, civil engineer come out today and look at that.
So Mark, you just want to just
When he came up,
see if everyone wants to say aye, call them by name.
yeah, can you do the roll call, because I'm driving?
Yep, all right. Mark?
Aye, yes.
Beth?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Donnell?
Yes.
And John?
Yes.
Any noes,
Oh, and
abstains? Good,
Nope.
okay, I feel good about that.
So I can draft the letter and have that available. I can have that probably available by Monday.
Great night. See you.
I did speak to Beth. Do you think you can put your phone on mute?
Yep,
Yeah.
sorry.
So I can have that letter ready by Monday. I spoke to the select board secretary. It shouldn't be a problem at all in getting that to the select board before Tuesday, whether by email and putting the letter in front of them. So however, this board wants, I mean, I can have that letter sent out to review, and if you have any comments, you can send them back to me individually and I can make sure to make those changes.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. Is that okay to do, if we make changes, are we allowed to make changes on the fly like that?
Probably not. On the open meeting law wise, if it's a discussion back and forth, I kind of steer clear of that. So it's kind of a difficult situation.
So why don't we just, you send it out for review, but that's the way it's gonna be. Like, we're not gonna make changes or discussions, we're just for our records that you'll send it out to us. Does that
Yeah, that's
Kind
fine.
solve the problem? I just don't want to get into any issues with open meeting laws.
No, I mean, I think I've got the motion, and I've got the reasoning behind it. And I think that's pretty fair. I mean, I know we talked about this earlier, Mark, in terms of, how I write this. This is obviously coming from the EDC, and I don't want to overstate that. It's your voice, not my voice, so to speak.
Yeah, and I don't want, as we discussed, Patrick, I don't
Yep.
want to, obviously, you need to stay on a flat,
Yes.
on a level
Yes.
surface here. So, I have no problems at all coming into the select board meeting to, when you present that letter, and saying a couple of words to the board as to what our reasoning is behind it. I don't have a problem doing that at all. If you guys on the EDC think that that's appropriate, I have no problem doing that at all.
No, that's fine. In fact, it's kind of good if somebody goes to those meetings.
Right.
I've done it a couple times. I can't go this Tuesday because I have friends at St. Patrick's, but it's good if you go and speak, Mark.
Okay, I'll take care of that then. I'll be at the meeting.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, so we'll just wait, Patrick, just to get the letter from you, but it's only for our own personal review. Whatever it says is what it's gonna be, just to stay in line with open meeting, but I'm glad we're all in agreement in any event.
Yeah, it will be pretty quick letter, but
Yeah.
taking the motion in, it's nothing crazy.
Yeah,
So,
and I don't
yeah.
know how much, like I said, I don't know how much I like to think that they haven't decided yet, but we'll find out.
Absolutely.
I think they're pretty open with it. I think there are a couple of guys on there that run small businesses that would understand. I think, doesn't Glenn Maffei, is that how you pronounce his last name? Maffei?
Maffey.
Maffei, doesn't he own that knife sharpening business?
He does. He's a
Um,
knife sharpener by trade, yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's a strong business, so I guarantee he understands what under the covers looks like with this. So anyway, yeah, I'd be happy to do that, and we'll just go from there, see what happens.
Okay.
All right, so I'll make a motion to close the meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. You gonna
Sounds
do
good,
a roll
thanks.
call, Patrick?
Technically, yeah. So Kevin,
Aye.
Donnell,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
and I think I got everybody.
Brian.
Brian, thank you, Brian.
Aye.
All right, guys. Everybody
All
have a
right,
great
thank you
weekend.
all.
Thank you guys for your